I just don't think that like everyone's really capable of getting like everything out of life that like you can, because it's just like shit is limited, right? But in the metaverse, like shit won't be limited. So like I'm not opposed to the idea. Like I get what you guys are saying, like overall it could be like pretty detrimental, but I'm not opposed to the idea of like 25 to like 30% of people like living the majority of their lives in this virtual world, because it's like if they're able to be more fulfilled, they're able to do more. Like go ahead, all power to you.
Trap jumping 2, 3. No, you don't know me. Trap jumping 2, 3. No, you don't know me. You barely know me. I be moving slowly. I be running 4D. Jumping 2, 3. No, you don't know me. They barely know me. I be moving slowly. I be running 4D.
Welcome to Burke's World. Today we have 3 people. I would like you to give your names, your schools, and your major. We'll start on this side.
My name is Joe Hernandez. I go to Rice University. I am a double major in philosophy and psychology.
Hey guys, I'm Emilio. I'm a junior at Harvard doing computer science with a secondary in energy and the environment.
Hello everyone, my name is Eduardo Salazar. I go to Florida International University and I'm an undergraduate student majoring in mechanical engineering.
All right. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. Today's topic is the metaverse. So the metaverse is a term that was first coined by Neil Stephenson in his novel Snow Crash. It's a combination of multiple elements of technology where users live within a digital universe. We see that a lot now with like Instagram, Facebook, that digital universe where people see your identity and you're a person, right? Meta, formerly known as Facebook, envisions the metaverse as a virtual world where digital avatars meet for business or entertainment. Microsoft has also developed holograms and virtual avatars for their Microsoft Teams platform. They're also developing a virtual connected space for retail and workplaces. So my first question is, does the metaverse remind you of anything that we have today?
Yes, so I don't know what it's called, but I do remember like this like little game that I don't know what the game was called, but it was like through VR where people could join in, they could have their own avatars, whatever it was. You remember that you got
VR chat. It was VR chat.
Yeah, VR chat. There you
VR
go.
chat.
I think it's so similar to that. It's
Yeah, it
so
is.
similar to that. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Emilio?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Eduardo. I think like a lot of the concepts that they're pulling out of metaverse were first seen in video games. Like I think like all of us have played video games in the past, and I think like for example Second Life, that used to be like super popular in the early 2000s. So I think really like everyone who's like played video games is kind of familiar with like a concept of like living in a virtual world. They're just taking it to like the next step.
Yeah, it's definitely not like a new concept by any means. I feel like what they're trying to do is just like trying to do it in a way that what they're really focusing on is making it seamless, you know, because that was the problem with all the other ones. Like, yeah, let's take VR chat, for example. Yeah, it was really cool. And yeah, it could track your movements, but it didn't really seem like you were in that world in the same way that metaverse is trying to do it. Like in the metaverse, like they're even trying to make like a proper home and everything. Like you have your own living space inside of the metaverse. Like it's, I don't know.
I mean, dude, Club Penguin, like they literally had that system. Like, they're like dude,
the igloo. The igloo.
like yeah, like I think I don't know, like the whole concept of like having your own land in the metaverse is like I think pretty sick. Like especially from like an environmental perspective, right? Because it's like like we don't need to expand on the earth anymore. We don't need to fly to Mars. Like all you need is like a VR headset, and like you could have like a huge crib, bro. But like in reality, you're living in like a trailer. Like
Exactly.
That's just Ready Player One, bro. I just think of Ready Player
yeah,
One.
it's Ready Player One.
Yeah, I really just think of that.
That's actually like kind of weird that movies are just becoming real life. Like I think that's like a common theme within like the past 20 years. Like we just look back at movies and we're like, wow, that's actually a thing.
It'd be
Except for
crazy
Back
if
to
that
the
actually
Future.
happened, yeah.
Back to the Future, we still don't have hoverboards, bro.
Yeah.
Or time travel.
Yeah.
We'll get there eventually though. So are you joining the metaverse or are you gonna stick to real life?
So here's the thing. I think I totally will join the metaverse. Like, why not? You know, like there's my real issue with the metaverse is how it's gonna affect life itself, like in the social aspect. I feel like we're gonna eventually get to the point where people are not gonna appreciate life itself anymore. They're gonna just be working towards the main goal of is, you know, towards achieving a good metaverse life in a sense, you know. Recently I actually watched this show on Amazon Prime. It's called The Upload. The show's terrible. I don't recommend it. The drama is subpar. The acting is horrible, but I still give it a 7 out of 10 because it talks about the metaverse, and it talks about a concept that will be very likely for us to achieve in the future, which would be eventually we could download our consciousness and upload it into the metaverse, in a sense creating our own afterlife. And in that sense, would I still join the metaverse? I probably would. However, I would only do it if I know that I could end my life at any point. Because, you know, once you reach that state, like where life works out that way, everyone's working towards that goal, towards getting a very, you know, the best, you know, afterlife they could ever achieve. Because also at the end of the day, nothing is free. So you already know that big businesses are going to be making it so that you got to pay a certain amount of money to join this certain afterlife. And if you want to do that, you get me? That's literally how it's going to work. And I think that's cool, but it's also kind of sad. People are not going to be enjoying life itself anymore, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think, like my problems are definitely like, I would say like less of like the social aspect, but more of like the fact that like it's big businesses controlling everything. Because like, bro, like I do not, like would I join a metaverse? Yes. Would I join Facebook's metaverse? Probably not, because Facebook is a terrible fucking corporation. Like, dude, like when you look at what they did in like 2016, like they're literally able to control governments. Like they're like, there's evidence, like they have been able to control like political elections and shit. So it's like, would I really want to join like the metaverse that's created by Facebook? Like, probably I feel like everything is going to be like subtly influenced for me to like buy their product and stuff. Like you look at like Facebook reports, and like the entire goal of the company is to like maintain engagement. Right. So it's like, I feel like joining their version of the metaverse, like there's going to be some weird psychological stuff happening where it's like I'm not even aware of like how I'm being influenced by them, but I am. So like that's my main fear, where it's just like who's actually making the metaverse? I think like a decentralized metaverse where it's like we all have like some stake in it.
We all partake.
Yeah, like that's fine. Like, and also I like on the question of like whether or not I would join, I think it's going to become inevitable in our lifetime, bro. Like at 50 years old, like, bro, like someone's going to invite you to a meeting and they're going to be like, yeah, it's in the metaverse. Like, what are you going to do? Yeah. You know? So like, I think you'll have to join, but it's a question of like, are we going to let like one corporation create like a whole universe that we live in? Especially like Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think it should be streamlined just so that like Facebook has, or Meta has a monopoly over it. Because like, I mean, it's as you say, they're big corporations. Like they make more in a quarter than some countries do in their entire GDPs for the entire year, right? So I don't think that that's a good idea. But I'm also with like Eduardo on the social aspect, right? Because I feel like we're already stemming away from like having to talk to other people if you don't want to, right? Exactly. Like for example, if you're on a bus, or if you're on if you're eating, if you're in any social situation, what do people do? They just take out their phones, right? And they just start looking at their phones. And also I think about like when you take that idea and put it to the extreme. Like, do you guys know what NEETs are? Have you heard of that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, NEETs are like a concept that are started off in Japan, and it refers to people that live a completely online lifestyle and they do not basically interact with anyone in real
like
life.
No game, no life.
Yeah,
like
basically.
The
like they stay in their
like
room.
Them.
Okay.
Yeah, they stay in their room all day, right? They work in their room. That's how they make money.
Do everything from their house,
do everything from their room. They order food to their room, and they never leave that room. They only ever interact with people through online, and they like play video games and they do all this thing. And while some people can live their life that way if they want to, I don't think that that's like a virtuous or a desirable way to live your life, in my opinion, honestly. Like that. And I feel like that's what the metaverse would be propagating if you take that idea to the extreme. Because I could definitely see some people that, as you said, Eduardo, like they don't live the life that they want to lead in real life, so they go like, screw it, I'm gonna just like escape into the metaverse.
The thing is, like, what if you can just be social in the metaverse? Like, what about for people who are like outcasts in real life, but in like the metaverse they could be like I don't know, like they're just like the guy, like, you know what I mean? Like everyone loves them, like in this like in like this virtual world. Like I don't see like what's the problem with that. Like I get what you guys are saying,
I think
that there's like
that'll be like pretty difficult for people to do, in the same way that like Eduardo was saying, like there's tiers to like if it's run by companies, there's definitely going to be like certain incentives like based on money, where like, oh, if you get this, like you get access to more things within the metaverse.
It's like
right?
saying
if you are actually a no one in real life, I think it'll actually be amplified in the metaverse.
You think so?
Yeah,
Because like I feel like some people like live great lives online, like lives that they otherwise like couldn't in real life. Like
yeah, but
because you could be like, because I think the appealing thing about the metaverse and the reason it's gonna sell is because you can be anyone and do anything.
right. But even then, like right now, when you're using Instagram, there isn't necessarily like a paywall, right?
Yeah.
So like you can edit your photos on like a free app and make it seem like, oh, I'm in Cancun. But if you're in the metaverse, you have to pay to go to Cancun. Like it's still like a physical place.
I don't.
Like not a physical place, like it's something that you would
costs
probably
money to
have
go
to
there.
Still costs
pay
money.
to do.
They don't like. I don't know. I don't think necessarily everything in the metaverse has to be paywalled. Like I don't know. Like I don't think that just like money's gonna stop. Like I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying like, you know, like the Instagram example where like there's some people, bro, who live like terrible fucking lives. Like they're like super sad, like sucks. But on Instagram it looks like they're
having
living
an
like an
amazing
influencer lifestyle. I'm saying you could do the same thing like essentially in the metaverse. You know what I mean? Like where it's like you can just fake who you are, and like for some people that's gonna be like.
I don't think that's true because, well, I don't think it would be possible because assuming that everything does have a paywall, it's like saying, oh, you reached the highest tier of the metaverse, but we all did the same thing. So it's like you could be as cool as you think you are, but we're all living here with you, you know?
Right.
It's like we all made it.
I think like the only way to distinguish yourself would be to pay more money. Like
Exactly.
as opposed to like on Instagram where like you can kind of just like make a 2D thing and like boom, like I'm somewhere that you're not really there, or you're doing something but like you're not actually doing that thing. In the metaverse, it's just another like it's a whole other life, but you're still like kind of confined to like real life, but just in the metaverse. You know, like for example, I'm in this house
then
right
how
now.
does that, like, if it's just real life in the metaverse, how does it lead to like social, like why is it like a less like, well, like my point is like why is this like less socially like or like as Joe is saying, like why is this not a desirable like lifestyle? Like if it's just the same, like if it simulates the same, like I'm saying, like if you're super rich, like let's say like the money doesn't fucking matter to you, like you're a billionaire, like isn't it like the same, like why is that not like desirable? Like I see like I don't really see why you can't make the same type of social connections that you do in your life. And like I think like for example, like just like a random case, like somebody, let's say somebody's like they're less abled, right? Like they're not like capable of like walking in real life,
Right.
Like in the metaverse nobody would be able to see that, right? And like they would be able to like have like more opportunities afforded to them. So it's like I get like for like you it might not be like more desirable, but I feel like for some people it could be like a more desirable social experience.
Yeah, it's not all bad. It's not all bad for sure. I could definitely see how there are like positive aspects to it. I'm just saying that there's going to be elements of what we consider to be normal parts of life that are just going to either be phased away or just go away completely. Like for example, I'm assuming that in the metaverse you can create your own avatar, right? You can look like whatever you want to look like. So imagine what you've heard, I assume, of people that like have Discord girlfriends, right? Like people that like make relationships over Discord. Like, could you imagine that, but over the metaverse, right? And people find love and people find and cultivate these relationships. Yeah, obviously you're gonna have like good relationships and stuff. But imagine like you, Amelia, you go and you like find this girl in like Taiwan or something, and you like
Thailand.
It's Thailand, and then you like love her, bro. Like you meet through the metaverse, and this is like your soulmate, and then you pull up, and then it's actually
like a
like
40-year-old dude
it's like a
from South
40-year-old man.
Africa.
Yeah,
That
it's like
would
a
be
40-year-old
scary,
man.
bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, if that's what you're into, I'm not gonna knock that, but I'm just saying,
Hey,
you
bro.
know.
Man. Now
Hey,
I
it's
gotta
an
think
illusion,
about
bro.
that.
As long as I never find out, shit. Like,
So to speak about what Emilio was saying on the social aspect, I see what he's trying to say, that like if it wouldn't be that bad. But here's the thing. I still feel like people are going to lose the value over life itself. And here's the one difference between life itself and living in the metaverse. With life itself, you can actually build yourself to become something better, something greater. You can actually work towards something. in the metaverse, you're kind of just stuck wherever you are. And if you want to become something greater, you have to pay money for it. And then even then, whatever it is that you do achieve, how meaningful is it? You know, like this is going to be a terrible analogy, but do you think Albert Einstein could have become Albert Einstein in the metaverse?
The thing is, I think there is a capacity to create in the metaverse. I feel like confined. Like, I don't think the idea of the metaverse necessarily has to be like everything is stuck to these paywalls. Like that might be true for like Facebook's metaverse or whatever, right? Where it's like there's certain tiers and stuff. But I think like, dude, like for example, like let's say part of the metaverse is like, oh, like it's like. The metaverse is like analogous to like Minecraft in a way where it's like you can create your own world. Like what if you're like a dude in the metaverse and you're just like incredible at like coding and like making these beautiful like sculptures in the metaverse, and then you're able to sell those. You know what I mean? Like I think the metaverse is going to create a lot more job opportunities for you to like for people to like ascend and like become something better. Like I don't think necessarily it's like you're stuck with like, oh, however much you could have afforded in real life, because like I think the metaverse is going to create like new opportunities and like new jobs and stuff. So it's like
I do think what Eduardo's trying to say is that it would be a lot harder to propagate society within the metaverse. Like from your, like I understand your standpoint where like you can do something great, but I think the most you can do is it being something artistic. Unless it's like something very computer science based.
Yeah, there's no
where
labor.
You're like making like innovations like that, but like everything still ties to like the physical world. And I think my greatest fear is that like we start losing sight of that, and then things just kind of start slowing down in the metaverse.
That's what I think. I think the metaverse.
Than
I don't think it will
life.
stop like advancements and stuff like that, but it'll definitely slow it down, I feel.
Like one thing will definitely become more important than the other, and it's just like time will tell which one will be. But I do think humans will choose metaverse over real life, because as you
once
said,
it gets
like,
good enough,
like you can just be like a whole other person there. Like
that's the thing. Like I don't even know if that's like too much of a threat to like the advancement of our like society. Like I don't know, because it's like if everyone, like you're right, like there's no labor in the metaverse. Like you're right, like the best thing, like eventually like everyone, all that you can do is just create,
right.
But like I think that's a good thing too, like the fact that like, dude, like imagine being born into a world where it's like you don't need to, like no one does hard labor, like all you can do, like everyone just paints and shit, like like you just paint and make NFTs and sell it, like that's the world, like there's no college.
I would cry.
Yeah. It's funny, but it's very likely that we'll get to that point. But that's the other thing too, though. Like, look, another problem with the metaverse, in my opinion, is that do you think it's like healthy for like in the mental health aspect? Because personally, let's say we get to the point that you could actually live an afterlife in the metaverse, right? In a sense, we're basically living in a video game, and since my life has basically become a video game, I could gain an obsession over like the dumbest things. So like, let's say in the event that like I find a certain glitch that allows me to have, I don't know, as many bagels as I want if I just like do a certain like pattern a couple times. And then one day they patch that and then I can't do it anymore. I would want to kill myself. You get what I'm saying? So mentally, I don't think it's that healthy in that aspect, because we will gain obsessions over the dumbest things. Because there's nothing else to build towards. There's, you're kind of just stuck. It's like you don't grow. It's not like I'm a baby and now I'm a teenager and then I'm an adult and then I'll be old and I'll get to see my own grandkids and whatnot. It's kind of just like you're stuck there. There's nowhere else to go. Just enjoy whatever you're given, and if you don't like it, deal with it.
Yeah, that's definitely coming from like a video game standpoint, where like you have, like, let's say being rich in a video game is like having clout, right? And you keep on doing this glitch to get rich in the video game. As soon as like that glitch goes away, you're like, all right, I'm gonna stop playing.
But you can't.
But you can't.
You can't. So then
it's
what
your
happens?
afterlife, bro. What you gonna do? Find
Exactly.
something new? Nah, I guess you would be forced to, because it's your new life. But like, I don't know. I don't think I would be happy with that. Me personally, I don't think I would like touch the metaverse. Like, I think I'll stay. I would prefer the physical reality over that. Like, if I'm forced to, of course, like Zoom. Like, no one wants to use Zoom, but
Well,
you
here's the
have
thing,
to
like,
use Zoom.
I still choose like having a natural like death in general. But like, you know, you can't tell me that it wouldn't be cool to like one day join the afterlife and then talk to your like old friends that you haven't talked to in years and be like, hey, you know, how was your life? How did you die? I don't know. Like, have a conversation like that. Like, wouldn't that be interesting?
It would be.
I think it would.
Way before that, though, right? Because what you're talking about is basically transhumanism, and that's like a concept that's like explored a lot in sci-fi, and people have explored it a lot through like bionic chips implanted into your brain, you know, things of that nature. And always a huge part of what we consider being human is death. It's dying, right?
Exactly.
So I feel like, yeah, that is, if metaverse technology and VR technology gets to the point to where we can just integrate our consciousness into a virtual world, yeah, I feel like it gets to that point, it's going to completely change the way that we look at things. But I feel like way before that, we're going to see massive changes to the world as we know it, the physical world, way before we die, right? So I feel like I'm thinking right now, like, let's say, I feel like if I do go into the metaverse, I'll like dip my toes into it. You know, I won't do a full dive. Like, I won't be in the metaverse like 10 hours a day. Because I'm thinking about it. Like, when I was a kid, I would literally play video games for 12 hours a day. I'd wake up and I'd play video games. Yeah, just play Minecraft. And then, like, I'd literally just stop to, like, go do my business and then just eat. That's pretty much it, right? And then sometimes shower. But right, but I'm thinking about what that'll do to the youth of, like, you know, tomorrow, and also just like what physical job, because we're talking about, like, for example, what's the workforce going to look like? Because by that point, transportation is going to be automized. All hard labor, trade school is going to go away, because why the hell am I going to hire an electrician? Well, like, it's all these things, right? Like, it's not just like death. Yes, death is like a huge part, but we're going to encounter so many big things before we even get there that I think it's like you really need to consider all of these things.
Joe brings up a great point, because even though it seems kind of sad in a sense that, like, how we were talking about the social aspect of things, how people are not going to want to like interact with each other anymore, I feel like by that point, once we reach what we were talking about, the world itself is going to be very sad already. You know, me, if I go to Publix, I'm not going to have a human, you know, charging me everything. I'm gonna have a machine just doing it for me. It's just kind of like, it's very sad. It's very sad. And I understand why we have to go down that road. It's just going to make life easier for us, because that's the goal at the end. Just make life easier for us. But sometimes I think about it, maybe just having things to struggle about, having things to worry about, maybe that's the point of life. You know?
Yeah.
The
Maybe,
struggle for
because
sure.
what else is there to live for
Like
at that point, you know?
meaningless in it. Like the fact that you have to go through
Like,
something.
if everything is free, everything, no, you don't have to worry about anything, what's the point of it? You know?
There's beauty in the struggle, bro.
There's beauty.
There's beauty in the struggle, yeah.
J. Cole was spitting.
No, J. Cole spitting, yeah. J. Cole was spitting when he said that. But I think, you know what I just thought of, man? I literally just thought of, like, Wall-E. Remember the fat people in Wall-E?
Yeah.
And they're sitting there and, like, they're all just, like, they're leading great lives by a metric, right? Like, if you are talking about straight hedonism, right? Like, just the pursuit of straight happiness and the avoidance of pain, they're living the best life. But are they really? Like, I think the whole point of that movie was to illustrate that they weren't. And the two people that Wall-E messes up because he's, like, you know, messing around with a fire extinguisher or whatever, and he knocks him over. Like, and then they end up, like, falling in love, and, like, they start thinking about kids and stuff. It really paints a picture of, like, what do we want out of life? Because at the end of the day, like, is convenience really all I want? Because that's what it is. It just makes everything more convenient. So that's why I feel like it's yeah, Emil, you were saying earlier, like, what makes it worse? Like, it's not necessarily that it's all bad, right? But there are aspects of it where, like, what we call humanity, the way that we consider life, is just going to change. It's just not what it is now at all.
So do you guys think that big businesses like Facebook, the reason they're pushing this agenda of there being a metaverse is do you think it's for them to provide us, like, you know, the convenience of, like, doing whatever we want in a virtual world, or do you think it's mostly just for money?
Money.
It's for money.
It's money.
No, it's for money for sure.
It's
Yeah.
engagement. It's like, how can we get everyone, like, to be on Facebook for as long as possible? And it's like by simulating real life. Like, dude, like, what they want is for this to be Facebook, where it's like you could physically sit on a couch with a bunch of people, and, like, that's what Facebook is. It's just like you pull up and you're hanging out with people, and by doing that, they could have people on there at all times. My, like, biggest fear with the metaverse isn't really, like, I haven't even thought about, like, I guess like these like big philosophical questions that you guys are bringing up about like if like this is like the correct trajectory for humanity. It's more so like data, bro. Like that's I think the scariest part about the metaverse is that they'll literally be able like they are like companies already track pretty much everything you do on your phone, and like everything's connected. Like I wear like a freaking Apple Watch every day. Like
they know your heartbeat, bro. They know your heartbeat.
Yeah, like I have a chip on me with my heartbeat, like everything, bro. But like in the metaverse, they could see every single like micron, bro. Like in the metaverse, they could have a camera in every house, bro. Like without you even knowing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, bro, Mark Zuckerberg could be in spectator mode, like at all times. Like he could just be like floating around, like looking at stuff. That's like the scary thing for me is that like, bro, like by the time that we get to like answering those questions about like, oh, what the metaverse is gonna be, like they're gonna collect so much data on like human interaction that like they'll like that corporations will be able to completely like remap it, bro. Like that they'll be able to like actually like cater.
But what do you think the end goal is? Like they'll be able to figure us out, like inside and out, like know exactly what we're gonna do.
To the point where you get like as many humans as engaged as possible, because like engagement, that's how you make money.
Okay.
So like I think it's
basically like, oh, this guy, he likes to wake up at 3 a.m. and he likes to do this and then go to sleep at this time. Same as this guy. Oh, but this guy does something different. So how can we possibly connect all of them and hook them into this virtual world or whatever? Okay. Yeah. But why are you afraid of that? If you already know that they're basically tracking you, why are you afraid of that?
Well, because they like I limit my data, right? Like I'm able to like still limit it. But if I'm in the metaverse, bro, there's not really a way to like, you know what I mean? Like you can't actually like limit it. Like on my phone, I turn off like location services. I turn off the like thing that like lets apps track you in between apps. Like I have all that shit turned off, and like I'm able to control that. Sometimes I go on walks without my phone. I'll like leave my phone, leave my watch, right? But like in the metaverse, you have no control of that, bro. So it's just like, dude, corporations will be able to like grab you, bro. Like they'll be able to like know like when you're feeling like your Coca-Cola addiction, and then you get Coca-Cola ads like as soon as you wake up, you're brushing your teeth, your mirror.
That definitely already happens. Yeah, you can't convince me otherwise.
I don't know. Like I think privacy is my biggest thing, where it's just like human life just won't be private anymore. Like the reason I'm not too worried about like the social aspect is like I feel like at first, like I mean, I feel like the people who adopt the metaverse, like I feel like, dude, it's just like, bro, we're about to hit like 8 billion people on Earth. I'm not sure if you guys have been seeing that. Like,
where was the peak though? Like I heard it would reach that, and
I think carrying capacity is 9.
Okay.
I think once we hit 9, it's just like we'll start dying off. Yeah. I mean, even the
what causes that? Like we just don't have enough food,
like the pandemic. Like for example, like it's just like every environment, every ecosystem has a carrying capacity. So it's like once you hit 9 billion, something's just bound to happen that's gonna like.
It's like, okay, we ran out of food, or we ran out of beds. Or
exactly. Like so. Like, dude, we're about to hit, like, population, like, capacity. And, like, honestly, dude, like, I've been thinking about it a lot. And I just don't think that, like, everyone's really capable of getting, like, everything out of life that, like, you can. Because it's just, like, shit is limited, right? But in the metaverse, like, shit won't be limited. So, like, I'm not opposed to the idea. Like, I get what you guys are saying. Like, overall, it could be, like, pretty detrimental. But I'm not opposed to the idea of, like, 25 to, like, 30% of people, like, living the majority of their lives in this virtual world. Because it's, like, if they're able to be more fulfilled, they're able to do more, like, go ahead, all power to you, right? But for me, it's like the whole privacy thing is like my problem with it, where it's just like how much control like corporations and like data is gonna have over people's lives. Because like right now, I think it's just like everything is so random, and like no one has control over, like no one truly has control over you. You know what I mean? Like the government does to some capacity, but like the government isn't able to like see every single thing. But in the metaverse, like they totally can. So, and like not only that, like it's not like we're choosing the metaverse government. It's like Mark Zuckerberg who's choosing, like like he's God. Like
that's the funny thing, bro. It's Mark Zuckerberg, like one of the most emotionally unintelligent people. Have you seen this guy speak? Like I thought all the memes were like just like, you know, obviously hyperbole. And they were just painting him as like a lizard man because he looks kind of funny and goofy, you know? Like, no, the guy actually just can't carry a conversation. He's very weird.
But isn't it funny that he created the biggest like social networking
platform hilarious. Of all time? It's hilarious. And it stands like, as one of the biggest questions that I don't know. The inception of Facebook was kind of hazy to begin with because I'm pretty sure he like stole the idea from 2 other guys, but that's a whole other can of worms. In terms of the metaverse, man, like my there's certain aspects of it that seem inherently attractive, obviously. Like, for example, I'm looking at this right now. Like, I would very much enjoy to just put on a headset and feel like I'm sitting on a couch with you guys when you guys go back up north and I go back to Texas and we can talk to Eduardo, right? And we're just having a conversation and it feels as natural and like as seamless as it does now. That sounds awesome, right? But I'm wondering what, like, okay, you said 20 to 30% of the population, right, living a majority of their life inside. What happens when that number increases? Because there is going to be a threshold at one point where what happens when it's 50% or 70% or 80%? Like, what happens to the real world? Who's keeping up all the servers? What do laws look like? What do crimes look like? How am I going to hit a lick? Like, the world is cyber at this point. You get me? So
you
it's
steal someone's computer, bro. And that's it. Yo, my house.
I wonder what like the investment curve would be like.
Investment?
Like just the like what you have to get to fully engage into the metaverse to like a capacity where like you're considered a head honcho, you know? Like I guess the VR headset is the big
I think
part.
eventually the taptic feedback suit where it's just like
yeah, but even then, like walking around, like wouldn't you need
I've seen like these little things where like they hold your waist and you can literally walk. It's like a little treadmill.
It's like a treadmill.
It's really cool.
That's like another investment that you have to make. So like I wonder how that would affect how many people join the metaverse, or like how many people fully like
what if the
immerse into it.
metaverse? What if the metaverse gets so big, right? Let's assume a monopoly, right? So let's say Facebook owns the entire metaverse, which I think if the idea pops off, it's not going to be that way. But let's just assume, for the sake of argument, it does. Do you think that because of lobbying, they'll provide government incentives so that the government subsidizes those types of things? So 100%. Like they provide you with all the means. They want you to enter the metaverse, bro. No barrier to entry. No barrier to entry. They don't want lack of money to be the barrier between them and another customer that's going to get hooked onto their product.
Yeah, I'm scared.
No, that's probably what will happen.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Imagine.
Then again, it won't get to the point where they'll actually buy you that machine that I was talking about, because that's just, imagine giving that to every single customer. It's kind of ridiculous.
Because I don't think it's that ridiculous, Eduardo. Because I think it's ridiculous for 20 or 30%. Definitely not anytime in our lifetime. For example,
like let's say I just want to be in the metaverse and I want to look around. Like I could just get a VR headset. I could get the little like the hand thingies or whatever to interact with stuff, and then that's it. Like I could just control my character like that. If I want to go the further, like the other mile, and then like get the actual contact thingy, you know, that's me.
I think what Joe is saying is that it like Facebook would make more money by, it's like, okay, let's say it costs them like $2,000 to give you the setup for free. It's like, that's fine, because Eduardo will eventually spend like $20K in the metaverse because he has this shit already, and like he's gonna have it for like 10 years. So it's like they'll just start like handing them out.
It's just that, I mean, maybe this is on a personal level, but I don't know what they could possibly sell to me in the metaverse that will make me want to spend that much money.
I can.
Yeah, me too.
I could think of several things.
But like what? Like it's like, oh, you can fly. To fly, you got to spend like.
Bro, no, you
I think
it's
experiences.
Like you could just have like, you could have a mansion and like I don't know, like
a mansion for 10K as opposed to 1 million. You know, because it's digital.
Okay.
Like your job is in the metaverse. Like you don't have to like, you don't have to leave your house, like your physical house, and like your job's in there.
I don't know. Maybe it's like the era that I was raised in. I feel like maybe our kids won't think the same way, but me, like, it's like, imagine the world completely changed and it turned into that tomorrow. I wouldn't be able to like get into it, like get in the groove and like actually,
you know, time is gradual though. Time is gradual. Yeah, sure, not us, but generations after several iterations, like that'll be second place to them. The same way the smartphones are just another part of life to us. Dude, you talk about this kind of stuff with your grandparents, and your grandparents, they didn't have any of this type of stuff. If you wanted to talk to Eduardo, you had to write a letter. And you had to throw it in the mail, snail mail, bro. Like it's not just acceleration, it's acceleration at an exponential rate, bro. Unlike any of us have ever seen. Like it'll be too fast for anyone to keep up, much less us. Like we've always thought, at least me, I've always thought that we were so technologically savvy with all of the advances that we saw happening with the inception of the internet and with the inception of the iPhone and with the inception of all that type of thing.
That's another scary thing too, that it's gonna happen so quickly.
Exactly.
Like it's not like space exploration that takes like multiple years for us to eventually make the next booster that's going to take us to Mars, and then we're going to need like 100 more years to get to like outside of the solar system. Like it's like every few years we make another big milestone, another.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary, man. I'm more scared than anything. It's exciting, but I'm scared.
Of like we've been talking about like full virtual reality metaverse, but what about augmented reality metaverse?
Can you guys explain that to me? Like,
It's
what
like
does that mean?
Pokemon Go.
Kind of,
So-
but like think about like wearing like glasses, like the same glasses like they have on. That's your VR headset. That's like the goal right now for like companies like Apple. Meta
So the
isn't
first
doing
goal
that.
is augmented reality.
Yeah, well, they want to do both like simultaneously, but it's like augmented reality is like, okay, like let's say instead of having a TV, you just put on these glasses and everyone's glasses are coded to have like TV on that wall. So it's like you don't have to buy a TV. It's just you have like a physical TV there. Or obviously you would buy like
Okay,
a
so
TV
the difference
NFT or
is
some
like
shit.
through augmented reality, I'm still in my physical body, like I'm like doing
but it's just
stuff.
virtual virtual stuff is
shit,
all
like,
over
popping
this.
up
So
in
like
my-
Joe
yeah.
right now could be a hologram.
That's cool. I'd prefer that, to be honest. Like I would be totally into that. Like
What's
the
the
first
dif-
thing I thought
what's
about
the
was like the
difference?
Iron Man
Like,
movies.
what's the difference?
That's fire.
Well, what's the difference for you? Like why?
Because like then in the metaverse, like I'm actually like I'm an AI. Like I'm in a system and I'm like in a completely like fake world that's like it seems super real, but it's fake. I don't know, man.
Is it the
why is,
uncanny
like,
valley
why is
for
a
you?
mixture like where's that like why are you comfortable
I
with
just
think
that?
it's the physical
I just like
aspect.
the physical aspect. I like
Yeah.
life. I like the like being in my living body and like feeling stuff and seeing you guys and being able to like go up to you and give you a hug or like
even
stupid
dating,
stuff
bro.
like
Like
that.
I don't think I would be able to date in the metaverse.
In the metaverse, yeah, I
that
don't
would
think
be
so. I don't think
wild.
so. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And this experience, dude, this thing that we're talking about right now, this is basically just like raw hedonism, right? It's like you can have all the pleasures, all the things that you could possibly think of. You could just summon them at the snap of your fingers. This has been explored since like 100 years ago. There was this guy called Nozick, right? Very famous philosopher from Harvard, actually, and he came up with what was called the experience machine. And it was this hypothetical machine in which you get plugged in, you can leave whenever you want, and this machine provides you with all the experiences you want. It's the metaverse. It's literally just the metaverse. This guy came up with the metaverse like 100 years ago. And for some reason, there's some intuition which most human beings possess where 80 to 95% of people that I've met and talk about the subject with, they don't want a fake reality. Even if that reality has everything that they want, that's still not something they want it to be
because
real.
like what feels better, like actually getting to that point, like being able to achieve the unachievable, or like just being like it. Look, here you go.
Yeah.
The thing is,
You get me?
I
Yeah.
am very interested in my life being saved from materialism because something like if I'm able to go into the metaverse and have everything I want, right? Like I have the Lambo, I have the mansion, I have like airplane Emilio, like I have all of this. Like once you can have all of it, then like, and the thing is like, imagine everyone can have that. Because like, obviously like there's a whole thing of like NFTs, like, oh, digital ownership, like, oh no, that's Joe's plane. Like no one can like touch that. But like in reality, like Gary's mod, right? Like you could just copy paste everything. So like one day, like in the metaverse, you could have all of that material stuff. So then it's like, I'm kind of interested to see like, once I do have everything, like, what is there? Like, what am I working towards? What do I want? Like, you know, like I think that's gonna be pretty cool.
Like you're interested in seeing what your mindset is gonna be once
Yeah,
you get
because
to that
it's like,
point.
hey, dude, like once you get to just have a mansion, like
That
it's
is
not
true.
like
He brings up a good point too, because we're kind of saying these things, but we haven't experienced it yet. So it's like, you know, like it seems scary right now, but we're not there yet. So maybe we got
I'm
used
saying,
to
like
it.
once it happens, like that's it. Like you achieved all your goals. Like if your goals are material,
Do you think people will become more spiritual because of the metaverse? And that sounds very unintuitive, right? Like where's the connection between that? But think about it, like especially in a capitalist society like our own, right? There is a lot of materialistic incentive for you to keep going. You want to make more money, you want to get more things, you want to have a bigger house, you want to have a nicer car. Once all those things are fulfilled, where do you think like are people's drives and people's wants and desires going to shift away from things more to like I don't know, beyond?
I agree with what you're saying, and I feel like it's true, like it will happen, but I feel like they'll separate themselves into like a different group. Like, oh yeah, they're like the spiritual kind. It's like saying now like the people that believe in astrology. It's like, oh yeah, like no offense to any viewers, but it's like if you're into astrology, you're kind of like in that group. It's like, you know, we support it, we don't hate it, but you know, you're there, you know. So in that point, like once there's people that they're like that are spiritual or whatever, you know, they're gonna be on the sideline. They're gonna be like, you know, that's their thing. They want to do their own thing. They want to die their own natural deaths, whatever. We're gonna have those people, and then we're also gonna have people that prefer the metaverse and the afterlife and just taking advantage of, you know, all the things that humans have been able to create for them, you know?
I think that would be so funny if we become like super spiritual, because it's like I feel like that's historically that we were like super spiritual, and technology
a
came into
horseshoe.
the mix, and then we were like, okay, whatever. And then like once technology gets super advanced, we just get super spiritual again.
Yeah.
like it's just like like
It's horseshoe theory, bro.
yeah,
It's
like,
just horseshoe theory.
why do we do all that? Like
Yeah.
that is just stuck without technology.
And then the aliens come.
And then the
come in.
aliens come.
Yeah.
I wonder what aliens are gonna think once they pull up and they see the metaverse. They're gonna be
You
like,
stupid.
what? Like, what are these guys doing? They just
They're gonna be like,
wasted
hey, we're invading
generations
Earth.
of advancement.
They're like, hey,
Like,
we're
here we
invading
are.
Earth. Like, hey, like take off, like, hey,
Hello.
trying to get our attention.
Like they're spending, dude. Oh my god,
We'll be
they
like-
spend their lifetime creating warp drives and stuff, and here we are, like, making a metaverse.
Dude, will racism disappear?
Dang.
No,
You don't think so?
because people are gonna like, okay, like if you're gonna communicate in the metaverse, oh no, you could probably
That's
edit
what I'm
your
saying.
voice
What if
too.
there's a universal communicator where you can make your voice sound like everything or like anything, and you have a universal language translator? So languages are not barriers anymore.
would be sick.
So you can communicate with anyone and you can sound like anyone. Would that, and you can look like anything.
That would
So
be so funny.
I think
I
What
can
race-
just see people doing the funniest shit. That is so funny. Yeah, no, I don't think racism. Actually, yeah, in that sense, no, it won't be. a
I
thing.
do think there will still be like classes and like discrimination based on those
There'll be
classes.
discrimination based on classes, like wealth. I'd say.
like
Yeah.
how would that hierarchy
not
look?
race.
What would that hierarchy be based on though? If it's not on things like
Like, although like you potentially could have everything in the metaverse, like let's say for example, like you don't want to go to Facebook's metaverse, right? You go to like some small third party decentralized metaverse, right? And in there you can have and in there you can have anything you want, right? You still have to recognize that Meta is still top dog in that
Yeah.
space. So in that sense, like if someone were to visit the third world decentralized metaverse, like I'm just saying, like you're just like,
world
oh, like you're a pauper. Like I don't care about anything you have going on, and I feel like that was definitely like in terms of like having opportunities. If someone wants to like progress in the metaverse, I think they would still have to go to Meta.
It's like the
we're
Android iPhone thing.
Yeah,
It's like you could have an Android with like super cool features and shit, but like people will be like, "Oh, you don't have an iPhone? Like,
exactly.
you're not in Meta? Like,
you're not in
I can see that. Yeah.
yeah, you're kind of right. Yeah,
And in Meta, there will still be even more class division because you'd have like, there's no way
you don't have Meta
Facebook-
Prime,
Yeah.
bro. They slow down the speed at which you perceive the universe. It's like oh, that would be crazy.
5 minutes behind.
You're lagging.
Bro,
You're
what do you guys think
lagging.
of that concept of like blocking people, bro, in the metaverse?
Yo,
Oh
that'd
yeah,
be so funny.
I've heard of it. Did you not see that? Like one of the things I watched, like the hour long
Connect,
the what?
Connect, was it?
Connect, yeah, the Connect thing with
Yeah.
like Mark Zuckerberg actually introducing the idea with the keynote and stuff, right? And one of the things that he opened with was one of the things that we one of the mission statements that we want to have on the forefront of our project is privacy and user friendliness, right? And I'm like, okay, cap.
Yeah,
Okay,
like,
cap,
yeah.
in my opinion. But then he immediately follows that up with, we want people to use our product the way that they see fit. So you can block people. If you don't want to see a certain person, you can literally block them and they will not show up in your metaverse. But I'm wondering what that's going to look like.
Like, can I be blocked, but can I still see what you're doing? For example,
like,
No,
that
like
would
I
be
just don't
great.
show up. Like I
That would be
just
great.
don't
You
show
can't
up.
hear my voice. I can't hear yours.
But I feel like you would still be able to tell who that person is.
yeah.
Like you, even if you block someone on Instagram, like you know that, like to a certain extent,
But-
like if you're looking, you would know.
But
that
dude,
that
like
person
on
blocked you.
Instagram, once you like, it's either it's one of the social medias. I know once you block someone, I think it's Instagram. You can't see like anything of them.
Right.
Like you'll like they completely erase from your Instagram, and you could do the same thing in the metaverse where it's like they're just not even there. Like let's say Eduardo has me blocked, like on metaverse,
But like,
like
you would have to like know that person, right? And if you ever want to seek out that person, you would find out that you're blocked. You know, Like, for example, the Josh's alter ego, Pineapple Fago. I don't know if you ever came across that Instagram account. It's this random person that made a copy of his Instagram and has more followers than him. And one day I DM'd it. I was like, yo, what's up? And then they blocked me, right? But I only knew because I was like, wait a minute. Like, I know this account still exists. Like, there's no way that it doesn't. And the same thing for Josh. Like, he hit him up like, yo, can you, like, not do this? And then blocked them. And he was like, oh, yeah, like, I know they're still out there, but it's like, what can you do at that point? So although, like, you can block someone, I think the other person has the potential to know that they're blocked if there's some sort of, like, instant messaging system.
Bro, you just made me realize, like, that's a big threat in the metaverse, duplicating someone's identity.
Ooh.
Oh, dude,
'Cause if you
identity
could-
fraud.
If you could, like, get the whole voice thing, too.
Nah, I don't think so.
Why?
Blockchain, bro. Like, you are you.
I was about to
Makes
say,
sense.
like, can you make an NFT on like yourself?
Yeah.
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 Can you make an NFT? Because literally, like, if somebody just pulls up to me and goes like, "Hello, I'm Mark Zuckerberg," I'll be like, "Nah, bro, you're not Mark Zuckerberg. You don't have the, little badge.
ID
Yeah, you don't have the little badge or whatever. You know, like that type of thing."
Verified.
Blue check mark. Ooh.
The
Would
branding.
would that be another sort of like class division?
Yeah, bro. It'll probably be like level
Verification.
5. Like,
Level 5 influencer. Ha, I'm level 10.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I'm wondering now, bro, what certain things that we find very coveted in our society right now, like for example, athletes, right? Would athletes still be like? Is
Fortnite
LeBron James
gamers.
really that impressive
Nah,
when I
but
can
Ninja?
fly? Oh yeah, but Ninja, you get me? Like, are
Ninja's
esports
that
gonna be
guy.
like the new transition in sports? Because at the end of the day, like when physical limitations become like the norm, right? Like if I can also windmill a basketball just like LeBron James, then I don't care about that. But I care about the reaction like the reaction speed of Ninja playing Fortnite. Like, is that what that's gonna look like? Or for example, like fashion designers, like. Obviously, well, I know. Actually, fashion designers have like seamless integration. Like, you could just make like clothes, but like there's gonna be like clothes designers, but like in the metaverse. So like, never mind. That's a bad example. But yeah, you know,
They're
that's
gonna be
thing.
NFTs, right? They're
they're
basically
gonna-
considered.
we're
We're
gonna
gonna
be
move
So it's
into
gonna be worth, like,
NFTs right
millions.
now. Do you think NFTs are a fad or are they just gonna like stay forever? Like NFTs in like the art sense right now.
The art sense.
Yeah, like how you have the Bored Ape stuff.
I think they're gonna stay forever.
I think they're gonna stay. I think they're gonna stay.
You know why? Because at least for me, when I first learned the idea, like when I first learned what an NFT is, because at first I had no idea what it was. Then I learned that it's basically just a digital asset. So it's like, for example, a CS:GO skin is an NFT. For example, is it not?
That NFT, if it's that particular one, yes.
Yeah,
Because it's
essentially.
basically what the NFT basically says is like, let's say I own a digital version of the Mona Lisa, right? Or let's not use the Mona Lisa because that's like a typical art piece. Let's use Nyan Cat, right? Yeah. Dude, everyone knows what Nyan Cat is. But let's
Wouldn't
say I have
that be
an
like the most
NFT.
expensive NFT ever?
Yes, because you have, right, something that everyone knows. It's super popular, and yet you have the original. The NFT serves as like a little check mark, a little badge that says this is the authentic, real deal. This is the original Nyan Cat, and this
Wait,
guy,
so the
Eduardo
first
Salazar.
guy or girl that ever created the Nyan Cat is probably like, he can make bread.
Yeah.
You can make bread right
Actually,
now.
I was working with a dude this summer who's creating like an NFT stock market for memes, and he had like I think it was the chocolate rain guy. Do you guys remember that
Chocolate
video?
rain.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I think
remember that.
it was that guy. Like he
I
had
remember
like
that.
signed on to like this like product, and it's basically like you can invest on memes. So it's like, for example, you could put Nyan
It's
Cat
so
on this
stupid.
Nyan on this like
I don't
NFT
get
stock
it.
market.
I don't get it.
Bro, it's the same
I
thing
don't
as
get it.
it's the same thing as art, bro. The same
Yeah,
way that
it
some
is.
people don't get why
can't
you
be
would
mad at
want
it.
a Pablo Picasso
No,
painting.
but art I can see it though, because art is like, for example, you look at a work of art and it's like looking at okay, for example, you remember when we were little and we would look at the clouds and we'd be like, yo, that looks like that looks like a cat, or that looks like an alligator.
Uh-huh.
You know, your imagination and the way you perceive things makes it different, you know? So it's like, if I look at a work of art, I could think of like, okay, this explains this, or this piece of art like shows this to me. To another person, it could show something else. So there's some like sense of like some sense of value to it, depending on the individual, you know. For example, before coming today, actually, I was watching I was reading a webpage on NFTs because I wanted to get a bit more informed on it. I saw one of like this guy that literally copy and pasted a picture of like a Twitter post that he made
Yeah.
I don't know who it was.
I think it was Jack Dorsey.
I think so. And it says, I am making Twitter. And he sold
Yeah.
it for over
Yeah, it was Jack
$2
Dorsey.
million. What is the idea behind that? Like,
Okay,
why
so
does it resell for that
what you're
amount?
talking about, right, with the painting having meaning for you, right, and how it might have different meaning for somebody else, that's subjectivism. And that's very typical in like something like Andy Warhol, right? Like they splatter a bunch of stuff on a canvas,
Right.
and then it has to make you feel something. I understand that there's value in that. However, you have to also understand that there's value in things like, for example, historical artifacts. Yeah, there is somebody who's a bigwig and can like appreciate the history of like an ancient Mayan artifact and what that means for civilizations and how far we've come. But for people like the layman, like you and me, we look at that shit and we're like, oh, dude, it's literally just like a tusk or something. Like, we don't care. Point is, the value doesn't necessarily come from its artistic value all the time. Sometimes it comes from the historical value. The fact that you have the
where it's
original.
been, who created it.
Who created
Okay.
it, where it came from, the fact that it's the original. For example, the Mona Lisa. I could literally take a picture of the Mona Lisa. Have you seen the Mona Lisa? It's not impressive.
Isn't it like super tiny?
It's literally
too?
tiny as hell. It's super tiny. The reason why people care about the Mona Lisa is because of the history that Leonardo da Vinci put into creating it. Also, the fact that it was stolen and no one can find where it is, but that's whatever. That came later. Point is, the reason why the Mona Lisa costs that much amount of money and why my picture of the Mona Lisa doesn't cost the same amount of money is because of the historical aspect to it. Right.
So would you say that like the price value of NFTs now is fueled by that, by
Yes,
the history
by
behind
the-
them,
by the
not
history.
necessarily like what they are, or
Not what they
look
are.
like?
I don't care about Nyan Cat. I could literally Google Nyan Cat right now and I'll get 300
yeah,
images. But the
exactly.
fact that I have the original, if I have the NFT of Nyan Cat, the original first Nyan Cat that ever touched the internet, the meme, that has value. That's what NFTs are. It's literally bragging rights, bro. It's literally just showing.
So if I were, I'm not saying I want to, I'm not interested, but if I wanted to trade NFTs, I would basically have to just look for the next big thing.
Yes.
Like look for like, oh wow, this guy created like the craziest
right now,
image.
next big
This
thing.
is gonna
Right
be going
now-
crazy.
Right now, the big buzz for NFTs is collectibles. So it's like some artists, like the Bored Ape one, which I think is so bad, but like whatever. There's the Pixel one I don't mind. I think those are like
But
kind
the
of
Bored
cute.
Ape wouldn't be
But
that
it's
good
like-
anymore because everyone's into that one now, right?
No, but it's like the original artist who made the Bored Ape one only made like 100. So it's like if you have one of those 100, it's like, oh shit, you have one of them. It's right now. It's like collectibles.
It's Supreme all over again.
So
bro.
yeah, it's basically Supreme. Like imagine Supreme was just selling photos.
That's a great
and
way
then it's
to
like,
put it.
oh, every 3 months there was another drop of like 50.
So it's like saying like, well, I don't know, has Nike done like NFTs for example, or like
I think Adidas did one.
let's say like a big shoe company. I don't know if
Actually,
Nike's has done it, but let's
Nike
say
has bought like rights to their image in a certain metaverse.
I think Adidas is selling like a big NFT project.
I'm not sure. I haven't seen too
Jamie?
much. Jamie,
Jimmy, pull it up.
no, but the idea is that like if there's a company that's like big in the real world and they start like putting themselves into the NFT world, it would be good judgment to say, yeah, this is probably gonna be like selling for a lot when they first start, at least getting the original copies and whatnot. That makes sense. That's what's strange about it though, because it's nothing like trading like stocks. It's a bit more similar to like trading cryptocurrency. Like for example, like when Dogecoin was going crazy, like it was really no reason. It just happened.
It's hype. It's literally just
It's just
hype.
hype, yeah.
Adidas sold their first NFT drop. They made $23 million. It was just selling NFTs with like Adidas shit on it.
It just makes
But
me
it's
wanna-
like-
it makes me
it's
wanna
like the
drop out of
fact
school.
that- It's like
Honestly,
It makes me want to drop out of
it's
school.
like the fact that you like Adidas dropped. It was like 30K items, and it's like, oh, like I have one of the Adidas like photos. You know what I mean? It's like I own that, and I think like when your original question, it's like, do I think they're just a fad or not? I think it all depends on the metaverse. Like I think the two I think that's where their value
Yeah.
comes from, because
Yeah.
that's like eventually where it's gonna matter, right? Where it's like when you're in the metaverse, right? Like let's say you join Facebook's Meta, like the official premium one, they'll be able to verify like, oh, like I can't have this picture up because it's Joe's NFT, and then like literally they take it down because like again,
Or you
like,
have to pay me royalties.
or I have to pay Joe like $50 a month, and it's like, yeah, I can have this. Like I could have that up for $50 a month, but really like I'm paying Joe for that. You know what I mean? So it's like I think that's how, like that's the only way it won't be a fad. If like this metaverse shit actually pops off, then yeah, I think NFTs are literally like, because like
So do you
that's
think
it's ownership.
physical assets will become less valuable than digital ones then?
It depends which physical assets, because like some of them are like commodities, right? But like in some sense, like I mean, like I don't really know enough about physical. 'Cause, for example, like gold is like used in like semiconductors or some shit, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
need
yeah.
gold to make computers. So it's like if the metaverse blows up, then you would need more gold naturally.
Time to invest
But-
in gold.
But I think there are a lot of like digital, like oil, for example. I assume eventually is gonna just like lose all value. Hopefully, like yeah.
You know, I'm thinking about the previous question that I had for you, Bert, when it came to how hierarchy would happen in a society where you can get everything. But I feel like we just brushed maybe one aspect of that. And I'm thinking about like, what if designer brands go meta, right? So imagine like we have our avatars, but my avatar was made by Hugo Boss, right? And I have the little badge. I have the badge that says Hugo Boss personally designed my avatar right now. Like the whatever the clothing that my avatar is wearing,
Louis
or
V
let's say it's a
avatar.
dinosaur. Fuck it, I'm a dinosaur in the metaverse.
Everything
but it
we're
was
bringing
made.
up is supporting the idea that digital assets will become more expensive.
Yes, it
than
will
physical
become more
ones.
expensive. Literally, yeah. That'll be your status symbol. That'll be clout in the metaverse. I
just
am
don't
wearing
know.
my NFT. You get me? I have these NFTs and you don't, because I have the real thing. It's sort of how we would check each other in real life. Yeah, I have the same Supreme box logo,
Your
right?
Jumpman has
But-
a butt crack.
Yeah, but exactly. But now I have to check whether your thing is fake and whether mine's is real, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the clout comes in. That's where the hype comes
and
in.
you could check it real easy.
And you could check it real easy. I don't have to look at it and have a professional like, no, I'll literally look at you and
I've
be
never
like,
thought
bro,
about it.
you're fake. Like everything that you're wearing right now is fake. I got the authentic.
I've never thought about it analogous to clothing.
Yes.
But it's
Wow.
literally just that.
It's just
You're
clothing.
so right.
It's
You're
just
so
hype.
right. Because, yeah, dude, the Supreme stuff, like, I could buy one on, like, eBay, and, like, it's $20, and it looks literally
Exactly the same.
The same material.
It's the same thing.
factory, same shit. But it's like, no, I bought mine from the Supreme website. Like, that's crazy. So, I don't know. I don't think there'll be a fad, honestly, because of that shit. You're right. But Bored Apes, bro, those things are so ugly. Like, I really don't know. Like I think Lil Baby has one.
Lil
That's his,
Baby
like,
has
Twitter
one.
icon.
2 Chainz has one. Kylie
I know-
Jenner failed to get one.
I know Jay-Z has one of the pixel ones. The pixel ones are actually kind of hard. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
like the pixel ones.
The pixel ones are another one of these like collectible NFT things, and like it's like 100 of them. Low key, like I remember I saw those. I was like, damn, if I own one of them, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. That was the first NFT. I was like,
Yeah, but are you ready to drop bans on them,
yeah,
though?
no, those are I think the most expensive. I think one of them sold for like the dude who made them. He made them like 7 years ago too. It's like crazy. He was like super ahead of his time.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah, he sold it for like 50 million or some shit. Like,
What?
You see what I'm saying?
what?
Like,
you know what's messed up about NFTs though right now is that like a lot of people are just minting other people's work.
Oh yeah.
Like bro, like, you
how,
could just
how do
take
you mean? How do you mean?
bro, literally go on like DeviantArt, like download someone's picture, and then you just make it an NFT, and you're like, no, this is my NFT, right? But then the original artist, it's super hard for them to be like, no, that's my picture, because the other dude has the NFT.
Oh,
Like he
wait, that's
claimed,
so... Yeah, I totally see
a
that.
lot of people, a lot of artists are, if you like, I see it on Twitter all the time where people are like, yo, guys, like, help me out, like, this, you just made an NFT of my artwork. And then like on DeviantArt, they'll get a notification like, hey, like, we don't think that this is yours.
Dude, you know...
that's even worse.
Yeah.
Dude, intellectual property rights are probably going to have such a shift. I'm thinking about what this will look like for the legal world, right? So what lawyers are going to be practicing in the future is not going to be like mergers and acquisitions, you get me? Like they're going to be studying like intellectual property and who owns what based on what laws, and is there going to be like, do you think there's going to be tax like in the virtual world, like that type of thing?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like that's what I'm trying to get to.
yeah, it's
like,
free money for them.
dude, this literally, when you asked me to get on this podcast, Bert, I thought we were just gonna be talking about some like niche little topic. Like this will literally change the world if this takes off. This will change the way that we just view
The thing is,
reality.
I don't know about tax because like I think that's where crypto comes in, because it's like, who the hell is going to tax me when my money is all decentralized? Like, bro, you can't tax Bitcoin. Like, you can tax a transaction like okay, like actually you can if you're like going into if you're in the official metaverse. That's why I'm not gonna live in the official metaverse. Bro. I'm gonna create my own. If you want to see me, it's gonna be like Roblox graphics. I'm gonna be like, yeah, bro. I have the bootleg version. Y'all can hop in here.
It is so easy for any corporation to just claim, oh, we have to keep our servers running. We literally operate for 70% of humanity because 70% of humanity uses our headsets and our little glasses and their gizmos that lets them enter the metaverse. Oh, there's a tax for that because we need to keep our servers running. Here you go, 7% or whatever they're going to choose, right? On everything.
Yeah.
On everything.
Even illegal transactions because they'll know about this too.
What would illegal activity look like?
Illegal?
Yeah, on the metaverse.
Manufacturing. Oh, you can't even manufacture NFTs.
Can you even
You can't even manufacture NFTs,
can you do anything illegal? Because like everything's watched. Like at least in the real world, like you just stay out of cameras, you stay out of trackers.
No, yeah. What even is an illegal action? Like
bad mouthing someone, but even like that can be recorded in the data.
yeah, dude. Hate crime is like
Wait, like I said earlier, like abusing a glitch. Like, what if there's a certain glitch that allows you to like claim something that is actually like a paid service in the metaverse? You know, like I don't know.
Definitely
why, but, like,
get caught. 100%.
You'll get caught
It'll
super
get
quickly.
patched really quick too.
Yeah,
that's messed up.
but will it be illegal? I think it will. Because since it costs money
Yeah.
to claim that, hell yeah, it'll be illegal.
It'll be super illegal because they
There's
want
really
to
nothing you
they
can
want
do,
to
like,
decentivize that as much as possible.
Well, just like how Nike like has rights to everything in the metaverse. Like if anyone bootlegs Nike, that's metaverse jail time or real jail time. I don't know, whatever it may be.
Bro, I know Disney's gonna
Metaverse
go
jail
with E.
time sounds scary as fuck. I'm not gonna lie.
Metaverse jail.
Jail time.
Like imagine they just like freeze you in space and it's like, dude, that'd be fucked up, dude. You
Dude,
can't take
some
off your
guy like
goggles, dude.
knocks down your like door in your apartment and like fucking duct tapes a headset on you. Like, no.
Oh my god.
No, I bet it would be like for cybercrime. Imagine going to prison, like real life prison for cybercrime. Like your ass is getting turned inside out,
Bro, what
bro.
about like pirating?
Pirating. Yeah.
Like blockchain just kind of like
It stops,
messes
it
all that
prevents a
up.
lot of it, yeah.
yeah. It's like everything
Thing
has
is,
an ID.
Dude, blockchain is like right now it's terrible for the environment.
How
that-
so?
Like Bitcoin and like Ethereum,
Like mining? Or-
mining it and also
okay.
verifying transactions, which is like blockchain technology. It like
I did see that.
It consumes so much energy right now. Like it like as
Can you
of
guys explain
right-
that concept to me? Like the concept of energy? Because I've heard it a couple times and I don't understand it.
It's like the amount of processing power it takes to like verify Bitcoin, right? Like it uses a lot on a computer, right? Because
Okay.
it's like you need to use your graphics card, your
That's
your
what it's
processor,
referred to as energy.
and it's like
Okay.
so much energy. It's actually like a crazy amount.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's like
For a single transaction or like multiple?
yeah, for a single transaction, it's like a substantial amount where it's like to the point where it's like when we scale it, it's like we currently do not have the energy infrastructure to support like everyone being in the metaverse, like and everyone using Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin
Wait, so that's a
uses
great
more
point.
energy alone than like a lot of countries in Europe. Like I don't want to make statistics up on the podcast, so I'm gonna quickly look it up. But like it like Bitcoin alone, and like
Why-
when you
why
think about
would
all
do that?
cryptos,
That's a great point. How will we actually reach the metaverse if we're gonna need all that energy to like have it running? Will we actually get there?
You know, I feel like, and this is where my personal opinion comes in, bro. The only way where this is feasible in any way where it's like not just sustainable but more eco-friendly, like without fuel, we need to like go nuclear. That's the only way that you would be
I
able
really
to produce
support
them.
how they're gonna put nuclear plants on the moon. I don't know if you guys saw that. I
Wait,
think it was,
what?
I think it was Blue Origin, like Jeff Bezos' company.
Mm-hmm.
I think they said that they were planning on doing that. Either them or SpaceX. I don't remember.
How would
I always
they like
confuse the two.
send the electricity? Like how would that work?
I don't know, but it's just like a project they want to start on. One I did see though, which I hope you guys have seen, that Elon Musk is starting like a project to like revert CO2 and like use the CO2 that's in the atmosphere for like fuel. So
I
like find
did
a way
not
of
see
removing
that.
CO2 from the atmosphere.
How would you go about that? What do you?
I don't
What's the
know,
process?
Because the thing is, the process itself to me, I feel like it would require CO2 to do that process.
Uh-huh.
but probably it captures more than like it uses.
Maybe I feel like there's gonna be some like you get me some trade.
Yeah.
to it.
So a report on how much like Bitcoin users, bro. A single the report states, this is from fortune.com. The report states that each Bitcoin transaction consumes 1,173 kilowatt hours of electricity. That's the volume of energy that could power the typical American home for 6 weeks.
Dude.
That's ridiculous.
6 weeks of power, man.
It says that
Dude.
the like cost of electricity is $176. So like if you're paying light in a house, 6 weeks, a single Bitcoin transaction. So like, yeah, and like NFTs are literally like just verifying on the blockchain. So like right now we don't have the energy capacity, but yeah, like obviously like the plan is like, okay, energy is gonna scale at hopefully the same rate, but
Will it?
well, yeah, that's the thing.
The reason why it's so the reason why it consumes so much energy is because computers, even ones that are engineered to be as quick as possible for the average consumer, right, take a lot of time to be able to figure out the code that actually leads to the 14 zeros or whatever it is that actually verifies the blockchain, right? So I'm wondering, right, what happens not just when we experience the bottleneck in energy consumption, what happens when we experience a bottleneck in technology and we surpass that, right? So what happens when our computers get so fast that they can literally just verify a blockchain like that?
The thing is, dude, we're kind of hitting like what you guys have been describing as like Moore's law, where it's like every 2 years, it takes 2 years for a processor to get
To double.
yeah, to
Right.
double, right? But dude, like
Aren't we ahead of that right now?
I think we're below that actually.
we're
reaching a plateau.
The reason that we're hitting a plateau is because it's hitting processors are getting close to being a micron.
Right.
Like it's close to just being so small that it's just like physically it is impossible to get smaller, like because we're already at a single like micron. I'm pretty sure that's like the explanation. Like not right now, but like in 10-15 years, like regular processors, like that's it, like Moore's law is kind of over. So it's like it's not like we're gonna get to it unless like, I mean, quantum computing is a whole thing.
I was about to say, the reason why I emphasize available to the consumer, right? Because there are quantum computers that I'm pretty sure can make short work of that, right? However, there is the obvious question, that begs the question, like, where are we just going to get a bunch of quantum computers for everybody? But I'm thinking in a world where you can sustain the metaverse, right? You don't need people driving around. You don't need people flying things around. You don't need a lot of material that would otherwise go to other industries that would be completely either automized or just completely removed altogether because of the metaverse. You could just invest all of humanity's resources into improving the
I think
metaverse.
it still doesn't.
No?
I don't think it's still enough. Like all of transportation and like all of the meat industry, that's like 40% of our like energy consumption. I'm pretty sure it's still not like enough considering our current energy grid. But yeah, like with nuclear and like also probably in the next 20 years somebody's gonna think of some crazy thing like we're like, oh, we can harness energy from like happiness, like I don't know, like, you know, like yeah,
the power of friendship.
I'm optimistic about it. I'm definitely optimistic. Like I think like yeah, like
It'll come.
yeah, it will come. Like I think like yeah, but as of right now, it's still a pretty big concern. Like it's just like it's not even like a whole like, oh, we have to care about our Earth. Like it's not. It's literally just like we can't do it. Like and that's what I think a lot of people aren't like
if we care
understanding.
about it, we're literally gonna
like,
die.
It's literally
we
like
can't.
yeah, like we literally like as a species will all die. Like so I don't
It sucks, but
know. Yeah, but you get a picture of an ape.
You got a picture of it like that.
All right. So we're going to wrap it up here. I think it was a pretty good discussion about the metaverse. I had fun.
Yeah, I also had fun. That
that
was
was
fun.
not bad. I enjoyed it.
Thank you again for coming, and yeah, that's it.